I flunked out of 2 colleges, Robert Lee Scott, Jr. admitted in his memoirs, though having preemptively dropped out would have been technically more accurate. Then I did something few college failures do, return to high school for the rudiments of learning I had missed. I had to have been learning a little, even to have gone back for what I called my postgraduate courses, and I think I was spurred on by the tears I saw in my dad's eyes. He was a Clemson graduate, class of 1905. It was a military school, and he wanted me to attend it. He goes on to say that they settled on his trying the Citadel, the military college of South Carolina, which is known as the West Point of the South. This lasted only a brief time, for he again dropped out and came home, announcing that he had decided to attend the real West Point. As competition for the service academies was fierce, and most who entered did so through congressional appointments, this seemed an impossible fantasy, and a source of immense consternation for Robert Scott Sr., who thought his son a budding failure. However, the younger Scott was a young man with a plan. He had previously joined the Georgia National Guard and knew that he could resign and transfer to the regular Army, which would make him eligible for a West Point prep school that would give him a crack at a backdoor entrance. This scheme worked, and Robert Lee Scott found himself as a member of the class of 1932 at the U.S. Military Academy. He spent the summer of his graduation year attempting to duplicate the entire route of Marco Polo on a Soyer motorcycle that he bought in Cherbourg, France. He made it across Europe and most of Turkey before halting his expedition near the Soviet border and turning back. That autumn, Scott's long-imagined goal of becoming a U.S. Army Air Corps flyer began to take shape at Randolph Field, one of the flight training bases that fed into the advanced flight school at Kelly Field or Brooks Field on the other side of San Antonio, Texas. It was also during that time that, like so many other Air Corps flying cadets passing through San Antonio, he met his future wife, Catherine Ricks Kitty Green. Indeed, as he reminds us in his memoirs, San Antonio in those years had earned the reputation as the mother-in-law of the Air Corps because so many of its men met their wives there. After earning his wings, but still a bachelor, Second Lieutenant Bob Scott reported to his first duty station, Mitchell Field, New York, in October 1933. Almost immediately, he incurred the wrath of his commander by racking up 32 hours of flying time during his first week, when the maximum was supposed to be 4 hours a month. An aging former cavalry officer, he told the exasperated flyer that the Great Depression was on, budgets were tight, and conserving fuel and time on airframes was more important than giving pilots the skill they needed to become experienced pilots. While Scott made his way into the sky by way of the U.S. Army Service Academy, Greg Hallenbeck, Jim Howard, and Tex Hill were among the thousands of young men of their generation who became naval aviators thanks to the Naval Aviation Cadet Program. Authorized by Congress in April 1935, the program provided for flight training for civilian college graduates and a road to being commissioned in the U.S. Navy or Marine Corps. Having graduated from the University of Washington in 1934 in aeronautical engineering, Hallenbeck had settled down and married 19-year-old Helene Wickstrom, a girl from Coos Bay, Oregon. He took a job as an engineering draftsman at the Boeing Company, but soon realized that he wanted to be a lot closer to flying than sketching aircraft components on drafting vellum. His commission in the U.S. Army Reserve was in the Coastal Artillery, and he was stymied in his efforts to transfer to the U.S. Army Air Corps. The Naval Aviation Cadet Program opened the door.